All right, everyone. I want to plan out my next focuses, and I want to get your feedback on things that you would like to see. This can be whether it is buddy reads and things like that. We're doing one right now, and a few people are taking me up on it with Lord Fowl's Bane. And so I do have a couple series locked in that I want to make sure that I finish early in the year. Those being, Thomas Covenant. I for sure am going to get through the first trilogy, and I think I would like to focus on all six of them if I can. But for sure, the first trilogy within the next few months. I think I would like to do one a month. Um, I'm going to finish also Elric in the next few months. And I do have some other fantasy kind of locked in. I have some sword and sorcery like Fritz Lieber's stuff and things like that, but I want to get your feedback on some of these other ones. Okay? A lot of these are brand new authors to me. Some of them I've read a one off and, whatever. But for sure, we are also starting in January. We're going to be reading The Real Story, which is a sci fi book from, or a series from Donaldson. Apparently, it's also very heavy. It's very small, though, this first one. So that's already locked in. But I want to figure out what other things I want to lock in for the next few months because I have this thing where I start a lot of things and it takes me a while to finish them because I just have so many irons in the fire. And again, I'm just doing that here, but um, yeah, let me show you some stuff. So, for fantasy, I'm a little bit locked into a lot of things already, but let me show you ones if you think I should do these. I know Melanie Ron is an author I've never read, and I do have her Dragon Prince trilogy. That is a consideration. I have read the first Robin Hobb, the Realm of the Elderlings Assassin's Apprentice. So, should that be a thing where I make sure to get through that trilogy? And a lot of these I'm going to get anyway, but what would you like to see first, and maybe what would you like to do a buddy read on, potentially? Is it time to go into the whole Janny Wurts? What is this whole world called? Anyway, the Wars of Light and Shadow. I can't remember what that whole section of books is, but maybe that. Obviously, I do want to get into the Rift War saga. I've been collecting these for some time, and I have like 9 of them or something, and I haven't gotten even to the first one. I know this one split up into 2 books, so I could do the 4. I could throw that into the mix. What do you think? Also, David Gemmell, I've mentioned that, even if I just did this as a standalone before getting to some of the other ones. But there's another series of his that I have my eye on as well. Also, Drizzt, I know that's a big thing to do. A big endeavor. I could do the first 3. And then I think the whole thing with the Crystal Shards, the Icewind Dale trilogy. I loved Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale. So I would love to do that. So maybe that would be in the mix. Also, the whole Dragonlance, Margaret Weis. There's a million Margaret Weis things I'd like. She also has a space opera trilogy, I think, that I have my eye on. That I think that would be cool. So, here are the other ones that I want to mainly. These are my main contenders for things I would like to start. And first, let me just show you some standalones because, I want to throw in some standalones, and I just grabbed some willy nilly. But would any of these strike your fancy for a buddy read coming up? So, To Your Scattered Bodies Go by Philip Jose Farmer. I still want to get through The Dying Earth. I've only gotten through the first portion. Maybe also The Blue World. Maybe Jack Vance. Maybe we should pair Stephen Donaldson going through Stephen Donaldson's Thomas Covenant and The Gap with something like Jack Vance. Maybe that could be interesting. Maybe we could go through some Clifford D. Simak, if you have a favorite. I really don't know anything about this author, A.E. von Vogt. Vogt. I see their novels, I see their little novella things or their little books all the time, and I've collected some, and maybe if people think it's good, I'll do that. Also, we have My Stars, My Destination by Alfred Bester. Any of those could be cool to throw into the mix, plus anything that you see behind me. Here are some authors that I thought would be interesting. So first, I've kept mentioning Lois McMaster Bujold, and whether it's good to start with this, which I guess is the mom to the main character for the rest of the series, or maybe starting with The Warrior's Apprentice. Should I start throwing those into the mix and reading one of those every few months? And it might be just yes for all of this, just do whatever, and as feedback, and that's fine. But really, if anything seems cool, and you want to, if you're really interested in something specific, then I'll go with that. Okay. C.J. Cherryh. I have never read anything from her. And I have 3 things. So this first one seems more like a sword and sorcery sort of thing. The Gate of Ivral has this lady on a horse. Seems kind of cool. I'm leaning a little against that unless people love it, because I just already have fantasy going on. So let's go to more of the sci-fi sorts of things. Two more things from C.J. Cherryh. I have the first 3 books in this, starting with Down Below Station, Hugo Award novel, goes to Merchanter's Luck, Rim Runners, and I think there's maybe, I can't remember how many. At the top of my head, maybe 6 or 7 books in this series. I don't know. So if you have any knowledge on this, let me know. Stephen Donaldson, in an interview, recommended this series, The Pride of Shanur, and I've seen it around. Look at as being where Stephen Donaldson is a very psychological kind of sci-fi author. He mentioned this as being a great sociological take. The Kith Strikes Back, Coming Home, Shanur's Legacy. I think I have all of them. And the last author that I'd like to put before you as an option is maybe CS Friedman. So here's what I know. We have a standalone, which might be a good place to start if you were interested in just hearing my thoughts or doing a buddy read again, or yeah, I guess those are the only 2 options. But The Madness Season is a standalone. What does it say there? How long could he survive the alien conquest if he could not conquer all that was alien within himself? Seems very psychological as well, so that sounds cool. A duology here. I think it's in this order. In Conquest Born, and its sequel, The Wildling. They were the ultimate enemies, generals of star empires, forever opposed the worlds, and worlds would fall before their private war. One on each side. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And the last is a trilogy. I'd like to collect all of this, these books, because they just look so cool. But I have this trilogy. Black Sun Rising, When True Night Falls, and Crown of Shadows. So, what do you think? What does the mood strike you as, or whatever? I'm so bad at talking sometimes. But where does the mood strike you at the moment? which of these should I do? Or should I add to my Thomas Covenant, Elric, etc. stuff? And I also have to finish Sun Eater, for sure. But we're mostly deciding what's going to be the new, a new couple series to really focus on and get all the way through. All the way through. So, maybe one a month. So, talk to you guys later.